Hey, see you later, man. Good seeing you, Wes. I don't know.
All right, so I see we're live. Over here. I'm going to wait till we get a couple more viewers in to tell them what happened here. Quite unbelievable, quite unbelievable. Press the share button. Everybody press the share button. Press the like button. The more people that press the like button, the more people that will see this live stream. We just had quite an experience in the Joe Biden rally here in North Liberty, Iowa. It is cold out. It is cold out. So we are waiting for a couple more viewers to come in, and then we are going to rock and roll. Woo! Pretty cold, huh? So let's see. Woo. Woo. I don't want to do it in there because then they'll hear us and kick us out. That's how that works. What happened? I'm about to tell you. I just want to wait till the viewership gets up a little bit. 222, 222. I hope we don't get hypothermia. All right, we're gonna wait till we have about 75 to 100 live viewers, and then I will start the broadcast. We got 40 right now. I want to wait. You could get your tripod if you want. Yeah. So the screen is going down for a minute, so Jamal gets his tripod. So I will just talk to you as the screen is black, but Jamal's just getting his tripod so they don't, so we don't get locked out, because we went outside of the Joe Biden event, and boy, is what just happened. I've never ever, even from Trump people, I've never experienced anything like what just happened, journalistically. So about to share with you what was straight up blocking us from asking a question to the former vice president. So, hold on. Let me see what our numbers here before I start. Press the like button. It's right under the live stream. The more people that press the like button, the more people that will see the live stream. We need to get this out to as many people as possible. Lickety split. Lickety split. All right, we're at 65 viewers, so I'm going to wait till we get up to 75 to 100. Let's go. Press that like button. Press the share button. I don't want to repeat. I don't want to have to repeat what happened for new viewers that come in. So let's get more viewers in. It's a super chat, so if you're feeling super, please help us out because we're freezing outside. My jacket's in the car. I hope I don't get reprimanded later because I'll probably get hypothermia. Jamal is very cold, but all right. So I'm going to start. So we get here to North Liberty, Iowa, about 20 minutes before the event, I would say. The event, we did some interviews before Joe Biden took stage. You'll see those interviews after this live stream. We're going to go hightail it somewhere that Jamal could edit. We're going to turn around those interviews really quickly. You know, before the event, you know, we talked to one moderate Democrat who told us he's supporting Biden and he'd rather 4 more years of Trump than any Bernie Sanders getting even close to the White House. So that's how badly the resistance wants to get rid of Trump. So badly that one gentleman from Iowa told me they would rather 4 more years of Trump than Bernie Sanders. So that was one set of voters. Then another set of voters who was a lot more nice, reasonable, she was a nice woman from Iowa, and she said she's kind of on the fence. She's leaning Biden. She said, she started talking about the talking points where, the talking points that people use because they're brainwashed by the corporate media, saying, well, I think a moderate might be the most electable. When I shared, well, how does that square with John Kerry, Al Gore, Hillary Clinton losing? By the end of the interview, wait till you see this, she was literally, I didn't even have to turn her. She turned and was like, you know what, I think you're right. And now she's a Bernie person, literally standing there at a Biden rally. So we'll put that up as soon as possible. But what happened at the end is a true test case on how empty Democrats are when they talk about freedom of the press, and freedom of the press is under attack by Donald Trump. So I knew that the only way I was going to get in a question to Joe Biden was if I got creative, like his campaign's not scheduling an interview for Status Coup. And press that like button. We need more people to press the like button so more people can see this live stream. So Jamal and I walked up to what they call the rope line. The rope line is at the end of events where the candidate goes along. They're kind of surrounded by, bodyguards and security, and they kiss babies and shake people's hands and, lie to their faces. But it's all so that people could feel close to the candidate. So Jamal and I were in a bit of a mosh pit trying to get up as close as possible at the rope line. And frankly, the press, the journalists, you're not typically supposed to ask questions on the rope line because that's for just the normal people who go to rallies and want to shake hands or get a selfie. But I knew that's the only way I was going to get a question in to him. So we stood on the rope line. We kept having to move around the rope line because we couldn't get to the front of the rope line. So we get to the end of the rope line and we finally get a spot right in front of the rope. And Biden is coming around. It's like he's rounding third base if this is a baseball game. He's coming around to us. And I said to Jamal, what did I tell you? Did I say, be prepared, they're going to try to ram us out of the way?
Yeah, you said be prepared because they might kick us out. They might grab us and get rough. So.
Yes. So as he was coming around, I start narrating, and we're going to turn this video around so you'll see it. And I start narrating like Biden's coming, he's coming, he don't know what's coming, he doesn't know what's coming. And there was actually two people behind me that I guess know Status Coup, and we're like, oh shit, Status Coup, Biden doesn't know what's coming, like right behind us. So I'm not gonna lie, I was getting a little excited, like, I respectfully would like to challenge the vice president. To tell you the truth, my first question, because I probably would only get one question, is, you were just talking about the middle class over there. How does that square with you ramming through a bankruptcy bill that has strangled middle class people? How does that square with you pushing NAFTA, which has decimated whole communities' middle class? And just hand the microphone to him. Maybe his staff would give him a piece of paper to hand to me, because the other day, he's not allowed anymore. His campaign has put a gag order out on Joe Biden. He's not allowed to actually answer reporter questions. A reporter asked him what his position was on Social Security, and instead of answering, he literally took a piece of paper, like a book report, handed it to the reporter with talking points on his record. So Joe Biden is he's like two people from us. And this whole time, by the way, let me just show you what I did. Little deceptive, but this is what you have to do. YouTube, I'm not getting naked, but I put my press badge, I hid my press badge under my button, under my shirt, so they wouldn't see it. And I was going to keep my microphone a little bit low so he didn't at first realize that I was press, because that's the only way. Let me just describe, for those of you that don't know, these candidates have what they call Wranglers all around them. They got PR people around them, communications people around them. What's that? Firefighters around them. And their only job is to make sure no bad optics, nobody challenges, no plants, to make sure that, in this case, the former vice president gets out unscathed, nobody challenges. Their job is basically to force positive vibes and to force a positive vision. So before he came to me, I see out of the corner of my eye 2 young women looking at me. They were not attendees at the rally. It looked like his staff. Then all of a sudden, 2 like hunky big union guys, because Biden has the firefighter. Biden has the firefighters union at all these events for him. We'll get into Union Man Joe a little bit later. Let me just make sure everything's good here, audio-wise, because I don't have my phone on. Hold on. All right, and Jen, do you mind changing the thumbnail? Because the thumbnail is still Michael Moore and Jane Sanders. That would be great. And press the like button, keep the super chats coming, all that. We got 280 people watching right now. All right, so wait till you see the video, too. So Biden's like 2 people in front of me, and I'm right here. I got my press badge hidden. I got my microphone low, so they don't know what's coming. And all of a sudden, 2 like big hunky union firefighter guys come up to me specifically and say, "Move back, move back." I said, "What's the problem?" And they said, no, safety, move back. Like the people were too close. So I moved back, and then they tell me, move back again. And then all of a sudden, I move back again, and then they just close in. They moved me back so that they can then block that part of the rope line so Biden could skip over it. So to be clear, they didn't push me. I don't want to be dramatic. They didn't touch me, but they basically came in on the rope line like that, telling me, move back, move back. I move back. They say, not far enough, move back. And I look to the corner of my eyes, and there's still those 2 women looking like they're putting out a fire here. They're coming towards us too. So you got 2 union men, basically, again, they didn't physically push me, but basically through stepping in at me, made me move back. I moved back twice, and then Biden just skipped over my section of the rope line and went to the end. I have never seen anything like it before in my career. Even when I covered Trump, I never saw Republican Wranglers or anybody try to push a journalist out of the way. I mean, I didn't. I wasn't at every event, but I didn't really see that at Trump events. So what does this mean? What does this mean? Listen, I know that I am known by the Democratic National Committee. That I know. Because if you, and this isn't like a victory for me. And remember, press that like button. The more people that press the like button, the more people that will see this live stream. Also, show us some love in the super chat. This trip is wildly expensive, and some guy is shooting me now, which is kind of weird. But what's interesting about it is, I know I'm known by the Democratic National Committee because they won't give me credentials to their debates, even though they give like Nickelodeon at Night kids credentials to go into the debates. They give like bloggers with far less of a following than Status Coup credentials into the debate. So it's like, I know the DNC knows us because we keep getting denied credentials to the debates. By the way, ABC just denied us credentials to the debates, which is kind of weird. I mean, we're pushing 70,000 subscribers. We have more of a following than a lot of people I've seen that they're allowing into the debates. All right, so the DNC blocks it. Joe Biden's campaign, I've been at several events so far, 2 in New York for Biden. As I tried to even interview his supporters, they pushed me back from events in New York. I had to wait till after the event for people to walk out. So not only are they trying to block me from interviewing supporters, but today, literally, they have union firefighters coming up, not to several people on the rope line, just me on the rope line, and pushing me back as Joe Biden's actual staffers are looking at me. I am not a conspiracy theorist, but this was intentional because there was no issue. I was watching Joe Biden move along the rope line. He shook hands with every single person, didn't skip a person. And all of a sudden, when you're getting to little old me, and I think his staff saw my microphone. I think that's what tipped them off. But what am I going to do? Hide it under my pants? I'm not going to do that. So basically what you have here, Joe Biden 20 minutes earlier, Jamal, I remember you shaking your head because you were buying the bullshit, saying, and these attacks on the free press, he was going after Trump. And I told you, he don't care about a free press. And what are your thoughts? Am I dramatizing this, or is everything I'm saying exactly how it happened? These union guys came up to me. They didn't physically accost me or anything, but they basically pushed me out of the way by blocking the rope line. And then they very intentionally had Joe Biden skip over.
Yeah, no. So basically, Joe Biden didn't want any smoke today, really, because I also experienced pushback. I was online with Jordan when he basically was skipped over. The big gig firefighter guys, they pushed me back as well, and I was like, I'm just standing here. I'm not doing anything.
Oh, no. Well, they saw you at a camera.
Damn it. That probably gave it away. But it was like, sheesh, they don't even know what our intentions are. Obviously we're here to see the event and to see Joe Biden. They don't know anything about us. So it was it's like, why didn't they even give us a chance? It doesn't make any sense. And I felt the type of way because they clearly skipped over us. I have the footage. I'll show you guys later. It's crazy.
Well, since you're a little young under the ears, I will tell you, they did know us. That's why they did it. Their staff, by the way, even though Joe Biden, malarkey, probably doesn't know how to spell Twitter, he's got staff monitoring activity on Twitter. So I do believe accounts like mine, Jimmy Dore, Glenn Greenwald, Michael Tracy, progressive or counterintuitive journalists are monitored because we report critically on people like Joe Biden because we like to actually share facts. The entire event, if you went to my Twitter at Jordan Sheridan, I was basically quoting what Joe Biden was saying and then listing the facts that basically debunk what he's saying. He talks about, I'm the best equipped. I don't take a back seat to anyone on climate change. He has a D- rating from Greenpeace on climate change. He's pro-fracking. He has advisors that work for the natural gas industry. He takes more money than anyone from Wall Street, which is heavily invested in fossil fuel. He says, I'm a union man, blah, 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 blah. He's literally doing fundraisers with union-busting companies like Comcast. He's taking money from union-busting attorneys like Stephen Kozin. The Intercept just wrote about it. He's not a union man. He voted for NAFTA, which decimated unions. He pushed TPP in 2016. When asked by a reporter in 2016, he was pushing TPP. He's not a union man. So really, I understand from the campaign's point of view, you want to keep the narrative open. You want to keep that narrative solid. You don't want a reporter actually challenging him. I mean, the most aggressive a reporter has been is asking him, what do you have to say about Bernie Sanders calling you out on Social Security? It's never like actually challenging him on specific policy. It's just it's trying to create controversy by saying, what's your response to Bernie Sanders? I don't give a shit what his response to Bernie Sanders is. I want to know. I was going to ask him, you're talking about restoring the soul of the nation, the middle class. How does that square with you pushing a bankruptcy bill that is still strangling families 15 years later? How does that square with you pushing to deregulate Wall Street, repeal Glass-Steagall, which literally caused the financial crash? How does that square with you pushing NAFTA, TPP, which has decimated the entire industrialized Midwest? I don't know if I would have gotten all that off in one question, but that's what I was trying to do, and that's why they pushed me back. But it's really interesting to me. You have two guys wearing union jackets coming up to one reporter, probably because his staff saw me, and told these union guys, push him back. Again, I'm not trying to be conspiratorial, but when you see the video, it is clear that Biden was walking up to me. There was no issue. They weren't pushing anyone back anywhere on the rope line, and they came up to me. And this is not about because I'm, so great and I would have destroyed him. I'm not talking about that. But it really says a lot. It says a lot because this isn't about one instance. And when you see the video, it's going to make a lot more sense to you. Look at the last few weeks on the campaign trail. They're calling Joe Biden the most electable candidate, right? And we got 445 viewers. Keep it coming. Press the share button. Press the like button. By the way, we are funded by you. So hopefully, if you're liking the reporting we're doing here in Iowa, we got more reporting to do later from a Bernie Sanders event. I have barely slept. Jamal has barely slept. We're driving around. We drove this morning 2 hours. We're doing this for the people to tell you the truth. Statuscoup.com/join. Become a member for as low as $5 a month. We're also cranking out some extra content just for members, little behind the scenes content just for our members. I think we're 10 members away right now, 10 members away from 900. Would love to get to 900 before the end of this live stream. Get off the fence if you've been on the fence. Statuscoup.com/join. But what's really telling to me, this is 2 days before the Iowa caucus, right? Look at what is going on as the day goes on, as the days goes on. National polls, Joe Biden is shrinking and sliding. NBC News poll just comes out the other day. Joe Biden in second place to Bernie Sanders. Within the margin of error, but Bernie above Joe Biden. Iowa polls, Bernie Sanders, three out of the last four Iowa polls. Bernie Sanders surging in front of Joe Biden. New Hampshire, Joe Biden is 15 points behind in one poll. Meanwhile, his campaign, I've never seen this in politics, his campaign has literally put a gag order on its own candidate to stop him from answering questions from the press. That is because they know it's a disaster. He either touches people, men or women, yanks them by the jacket, tells voters not to vote for him if they ask him a question that's somewhat critical. Go vote for somebody else. But with reporters, they don't want him to speak on things like Social Security. That's why they're making him be silent and just hand him a piece of paper, because they know the record is what Bernie Sanders has been saying. They know he can't defend it, both because cognitively there's some things going on there, but also he can't stop himself from lying. I'm not comparing him to Trump in terms of like the viciousness. I don't want to do that. But in terms of the casual and easy lying, it's pretty close. I mean, look at Sean King's reporting over the last week. Sean King has meticulously gone through lie after lie after lie that Biden has been telling since the 1960s. He claims that he participated in sit-ins during the civil rights movement. He has never participated. He has never done one sit-in during the civil rights movement. He has been going to black churches with black people all around him, telling them that he did sit-ins during the civil rights movement, that he helped organizing during the civil rights movement. None of this. I mean, it's a remarkable story. I'm sure Sean King has it on his Twitter, or I don't know where he published it, but I went through it. Video after video after video at black churches, at events with African Americans, just blatantly making up a life story that literally he is contrary to what he wrote in his own book. He said in his own book that he learned about the civil rights movement from the newspapers. Yet at black churches, he's saying, I was in sit-ins, and I did this, and I did that. So that's just some of the lying. Joe Biden, again, I always say he's running in 1990. I think he doesn't understand there's YouTube, there's Twitter, there's all these things. There's video after video after video. Him calling to raise the retirement age. Him calling to freeze Social Security, Medicare. Him praising Paul Ryan, which the media made it seem like was taken out of context. No, it wasn't. He said, Paul Ryan was right. We got to do something about Social Security. That's the only way we're going to be able to keep it. No, we don't have to do anything about Social Security. We have to do something about the wars, the tax cuts, the deregulation, the subsidies and wet kisses to big pharma, big banks, big oil, big real estate, Silicon Valley. And what's amazing to me, and it really talks about, man, I want to do a documentary one day if we ever get the funding. Statuscoup.com/join. We need funding for these things. $5 a month, statuscoup.com/join. People are eating this shit up in these events. You have him talking about the dignity of work. You have him talking about, I'm not afraid to say the word union. And people are loving it, having no idea that not only did he vote for these things like NAFTA, like repealing Glass-Steagall, which led to the 2008 financial crash, like deregulating derivatives on Wall Street, like the bankruptcy bill. He wasn't some like backbencher in the Senate doing these things. Many of these things, he was one of the Democrats leading the charge. He is currently, not 15 years ago, currently taking millions of dollars from union-busting companies like Comcast, from union-busting attorneys like Stephen Cozen, that's Stephen, C-O-Z-E-N, who literally on their website, Cozen and Associates, I think is his company's names, brag basically about how their company helps corporations avoid unionization and, you know, basically gracefully work to end picket lines, i.e. union bust. This is who this man is taking money from. And you want to know why so many people in that room after, you know, before they pushed us out of the way from asking a question, why so many people in that room were laughing it up and loving it and don't know any better? Because all the media next to us, there was a CNN reporter next to me, there was newspaper reporters next to me, none of them report the actual records. Forget Bernie Sanders for a second, whether you're a Bernie Sanders person or not. Like, I'm a Bernie Sanders person, but I could say, listen, he voted for the crime bill, bad vote, Bernie Sanders, right? Yeah, he has since said it was a mistake, but I could point out when Bernie Sanders was wrong. But I can't make up more things that I think Bernie Sanders is wrong on. He's been remarkably consistent, and I can't create critical coverage when the record, for him at least, it doesn't warrant such critical coverage. If there were things going on now that I thought Bernie Sanders was doing wrong, I would be the first one to report it to you if I could prove it. But there is a record for Joe Biden. So to me, what I'm talking about, it's not about propping up Bernie Sanders. It's about propping up facts. That's your job as a journalist, to inform people whether they're being told the truth or whether they're being hoodwinked. That is the job of a journalist. Maybe they don't teach that in journalism school, but so many people here. I mean, let me tell you, let me give you an example. I was, you'll see in the videos, you know, I didn't want to attack anyone, or you want to like calibrate how toughly you go at people. So I was very respectful because most of the people I interviewed were a bit older. Some of them were older women, so you don't want to like be hitting them over the head with a 2x4. But I interviewed one woman who was very nice. And she starts talking about, well, you know, I just think we need a moderate. You need a moderate candidate to win the states we need to win to beat Trump. And obviously she's hearing this from CNN, from newspapers. I mean, this is manufacturing consent. So I said to her, well, how is moderate President John Kerry? How did moderate President Al Gore work out? How did moderate President Hillary Clinton work for you? How are those moderates working for you? I pointed out Barack Obama didn't run as a moderate. He actually ran as a progressive. He obviously was lying. And it's so fulfilling for me. It's not fulfilling that I turned her into a Bernie person, which ended up happening, but it's so fulfilling for me when you see that the light bulb go off during an interview. Jamal, you know this happened. She literally was like, well, you know, you're right. I never thought I just never thought that way. She literally said, you know, you're right. That might be what we need. So it's like manufacturing consent is all about keeping people dumb, keeping people numb. So to me, why do you think Republicans win so often? Why do you think Trump won? Why do you think Democrats have lost over 1,000 seats in the last 10 years? There's two reasons. Number one, the corporate media, which is funded by multi-billion-dollar corporate conglomerates, continue to basically intentionally force a narrative that's a lie, propaganda, in order to, whether it's a Democrat or a Republican that wins, keep the status quo in power. But the other thing is they keep saying that the only way to defeat extremism, Republican extremism, is with, you know, moderate liberalism. People in America they just don't go towards like a Bernie Sanders type position because people are more moderate. Well, the thing is, those media people that are telling you people are more moderate, they're keeping people more moderate by not informing them of the records, of the truth. I mean, if you go through my Twitter, at Jordan Sheridan, I literally was quoting Joe Biden throughout his speech. And every single thing that he talked about as like a selling point for him, there is information that completely debunks it. When he's talking about the middle class, I went through the list of things he has voted for and pushed that were totally destructive of the middle class. When he's talking about climate change, he's pro-fracking. He would keep the Pentagon budget massive. The Pentagon is the biggest emitter of carbon dioxide on planet Earth. When he's talking about Union Man Joe, I've already gone through. He's been a total enemy of the unions, but either they're dumb or they're too dumb or too corrupt, some of these unions, to understand that. So it's just amazing to me. It's amazing the lies that get kept being perpetrated, and it's a disservice to people, because let people know the truth. You know, I'm not saying reporters have to share the truth in as edgy a way as I do, or as aggressive a way as I do. That's just my style. But most of the people here, all they're hearing is like, oh, well, Joe Biden, he's been through things. He's lost his wife and his daughter, which I'm not mocking. I mean, that's a terrible thing, and that's, you know, I feel bad that that happened to him. But they're fed a narrative about how he understands the struggle. He understands not knowing if you're going to pay the rent. He understands these things. He's a country club Republican. So what that he took Amtrak to work? He has taken like tens of millions of dollars from Wall Street in his career as a senator. As vice president, nobody knows. He was trying with Obama to put their Social Security and Medicare on the chopping block in a grand bargain. Not 20 years ago. We're talking 7 years ago they were trying this. Currently, he is going around having fundraisers with Wall Street saying to them, hey, you guys are patriots. I don't let anyone knock you wealthy folk. You are patriots. And not a damn thing. Your standard of living won't change one iota. I mean, if the same thing happened, if it was Mitt Romney who said that, the media would be all over it. But Joe Biden, they cover it up. Why? Because people like Joe Biden and President Obama and Hillary Clinton, the media helps them push biographical narratives, narratives that are more emotion than fact, stronger together, restore the soul of the nation, and whatever the others, you know, hope and change. But the media pushes those narratives forward in order to keep neoliberal leaders in power. And then they go after people with an actual progressive record and throw misdirection. This progressive over here, oh, he might tax us more. Oh, he might regulate the media more. Oh, he wants his, Medicare for all. That's going to hurt pharmaceutical companies who advertise on our station, right? Sexist, racially insensitive, misogynist, too old. This is how manufacturing consent works. So, listen, I could go all day out here. It's probably 15 degrees right now, so I'm not going to. I don't have a jacket on. So let me tell you what's coming next. Jamal and I are going to find somewhere to edit these videos. We're going to try to turn it around really quickly so you can see what we're talking about as far as the Biden people basically blocking us from asking questions. We have some other interviews we're going to edit. There is a Bernie Sanders concert tonight, I believe with Vampire Diaries. I think I'm getting that right, in Iowa. So if we finish editing and stuff, we're going to go to that. Then tomorrow is one day before the caucus, so there is just a whole lot of events. We're going to try to cover as much as possible. I feel like I failed you. I wanted to get in front of him and ask a question, but they blocked me, so I did the best that I could. But we're really, really trying to show you in the trenches what's going on. The other thing that I wanted to give as a note, and I put it on my Twitter, it's honestly like deja vu. I really feel like 2017 to 2020 just didn't happen. I just feel like it's been one continuation of 2016. Because when I am in Joe Biden events, and I covered a lot of Hillary Clinton events in 2016, it's literally like the same exact thing. It's literally the same exact thing. I clocked it. I might be off by a minute or two. It took Joe Biden about 20 minutes of speaking before he got to one policy position. It took Joe Biden 20 minutes of speaking before even saying anything other than Trump is terrible. Trump is immoral. Trump is the Antichrist. 20 minutes of just Trump is terrible. Trump is terrible. There was two people who interrupted. One guy in the beginning, strangely, was like, my wife just divorced me. Do you have advice for me? I don't know if that was like a plant, but it was weird. And then another guy, I wish we should have ran out and interviewed him, but another guy, another guy wearing a Settle for Biden 2020 shirt interrupted. So that was kind of funny. I wish I would have got him. But literally, there's nothing there. He's just recycling Hillary Clinton's campaign playbook. I just don't understand. Are these people intentionally trying to lose, or are they this incompetent? He has no message. There's no message. It's just restore the soul of the nation. He talked about how terrible Trump is. He talked about how terrible the Senate is to, basically this mock joke of a trial. But that's not going to bring out the number of voters to eliminate Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a brilliant politician. He's a despicable man, but he's a brilliant politician. The only thing that could defeat a brilliant politician who understands the pulse of the country, who understands how to manipulate, who understands how to dominate news coverage, is organizing on the ground, is intergenerational movements, old and young together, white and black together. And he doesn't have that. He just doesn't. He's polling in some polls at 3 to 5% among 18 to 30-year-olds, 3 to 5% among millennials. His lead among black Americans is shrinking as well. And by the way, Hillary Clinton is corrupt, but so is Joe Biden. But Donald Trump, what he desperately needs to win is someone, a candidate, that he could just throw up his hands and do whataboutism. Oh, you call me corrupt? Well, what about Hunter Biden? You call me corrupt? What about Burisma? You call me corrupt? What about you working for the credit card companies in Delaware? You call me corrupt? What about you, and trying to get a prosecutor in Ukraine fired who is investigating your son's companies? Whether it's true or not, Trump is great at muddying the waters, canceling his own corruption by pointing to the other person's corruption. That's what he did to Hillary Clinton. And by the way, Hillary Clinton is corrupt. I don't know. I don't think anyone is as corrupt as Trump, but Hillary Clinton was corrupt. Joe Biden does have corruption. So even if they're less corrupt than than Trump, you do not beat a quasi-fascist with a country club Republican who's corrupt. I mean, I tweeted it out. Joe Biden was quoting the New York Times, David Brooks. He was quoting Ronald Reagan. This is who's going to defeat Donald Trump, somebody who's standing there quoting David Brooks columns from the New York Times, quoting Ronald Reagan. Remember, in 2016, Chuck Schumer, another brainiac, brilliant man, Chuck Schumer, he said, for every blue-collar worker we lose, we'll pick up 2 moderate Republicans. This is the same exact strategy that the Biden campaign is taking, trying to get moderate Republicans, not realizing there is no such thing as a moderate Republican. There is a lot more progressives than moderate Republicans. So, we'll see what happens. So, again, Jamal and I are going to go now. We're going to try and turn around some video footage quickly. So check back on the channel. Make sure you are on our email list, but make sure, and Jen, please put this in the super chat. A lot of our emails that we're sending are going to spam. A lot of our emails that we're sending are going to spam. So make sure you whitelist status coup. I don't know how to do that, so Jen will put it in the super chat, the link or something like that. But make sure you whitelist status quo's emails so it doesn't go to your spam, because a lot of you are missing our emails because it's going into your spam box. So that's number one for the email. Number 2, make sure you're on our text list. Text Coup, C-O-U-P, to 474747. That's text Coup, C-O-U-P, to 474747. That is how you get added to our text list. We're not texting out every time we're live because it's getting to a point where we're paying like $30 to $40 for every text we send out, which is expensive for us. So that helps us alert you when we're live, because YouTube is, if they do notify you, it's often like 20 minutes later than after we've gone live and all those things. Thirdly, we want you to sign up as a member. Again, I don't know, maybe we got new members that signed up since I've been live. When I went live, we were at 890, I believe, 890 members. I would like to get an extra 10 members today to hit 900 members. I think we could do it. For those of you that have been on the fence, we just did get a new member sign up. Welcome to the Media Revolution, Kathy. So I don't know what number we're at now. I think that's 890 or 891. Listen, do you see a lot of other journalists out in the trenches, in the freezing cold, getting basically pushed out of the way to interview Joe Biden? We're trying to do as much as we can in little time with little funding. The more people that sign up as a member, this is our model. Small dollar memberships, we have $5 a month plans, $10 a month plans, $20 a month plans, or you could sign up at $179 annually. There's something in it for you. On top of supporting independent journalism, you're actually getting cool bonus content. We're trying to turn around more videos while we're in the field, some behind the scenes stuff. So members, go to the member page on our website to see that behind the scenes content. We already have a few videos up there now from our time in Iowa. But also you get to join our monthly members calls, which is a video call. It's a lot of fun. We had 2 in January, so that was exciting. And most importantly, this is how we fund an actual media revolution. We want to hire other reporters. We want to make it more produced. We also need more staff behind the scenes, marketing, research, production, the whole 9. And we're not taking money from Joe Biden's donors. So when you don't take big money, you have to take small money. So that's why we're asking. Thank you to everybody who is a member already. Thank you to everyone that's been leaving super chats. We really appreciate it. You could also help fund this trip at paypal.me/status coup. That's paypal.me/status coup. We will be live again later today from the Bernie Sanders event, and look for new videos to come up from our voyage here at Joe Biden in North Liberty, Iowa. Thank you for watching. Be nice to each other.
Can I go inside and check to see if I left anything?
Hopefully I didn't.
Long day for everyone. Just started. Oh, man. I'm tired. I'm Justin, by the way.
Jordan,
Love you.
you work on the campaign?
Yeah, advanced effort. Just logistics. Doing stuff like this. Sure, people head pathways and whatnot. Surviving on nicotine and caffeine.
The dirty work.
Dirty work indeed.
How's it looking for your candidate?
I mean, the future's bright, but it's kind of like the Super Bowl any given Sunday.
Right. Anything can happen. Sure. Have a good one.
Yep.